You are watching KEVU 25 News Now at 10.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Amaya Norman.
And I'm Trenton Whiting.
One person is dead and several others were injured when a man opened fire at a Liberty County bar early Sunday. According to officials, deputies with the Liberty County Sheriff Office say a shooting at a Las Locas near Cleveland happened just before 2:30 a.m. Early reports indicate the suspect, who is not a regular at the bar, arrived around midnight, left briefly, then returned and opened fire. 6 people were shot, including one man who died at the scene. 2 victims were airlifted to hospitals and are in critical condition. Officials say the suspect acted alone and fled in a white van with a long scratch on the side. Authorities are reviewing surveillance footages for more details.
Heavy rains in Victoria earlier today caused flooding in areas around the city. Navarro Street is closed at the underpass due to flooding there. The intersections at Goodwin Avenue and East North Street were closed to prevent vehicles from driving through the water there. Police on the scene say the drainage under the bridge may be somewhat clogged, slowing down the water runoff. Police went on to say the road could be closed even until tomorrow morning. The Office of Emergency Management suggests drivers turn around and avoid roads if they see flooding on their commute.
But we begin tonight with the severe storm sweeping across the northeast. Our weather team is tracking it all. But first, Rena Roy leads us off.
Tonight, parts of the Northeast cleaning up after severe storms rocked the region. Heavy rain and high winds pummeling millions. In central Massachusetts, families in Holden racing for cover. The National Weather Service issuing a tornado warning.
You just picked up the kids and I was like getting in the basement, and then after everything I waited like 5-10 minutes, came up and then just saw the damage everywhere.
Trees falling onto homes.
See how you go from this red color to this bright greenish yellow? That is indicating debris being lofted into the air by this thunderstorm.
In Glen Rock, New Jersey, a doorbell camera capturing the moment this tree came crashing down. In New York City, people sheltering inside this park underpass as the storm raged on. As the Northeast clears out, a thunderstorm in Jacksonville, Florida, interrupting the Jaguars game against the Carolina Panthers for more than an hour. In the West, the pyrite fire breaking out late Friday east of Los Angeles, now scorching more than 500 acres in Riverside County. Nearly 300 firefighters building containment lines and patrolling for hotspots. And in Central California, where lightning sparked the massive TCU September Lightning Complex fire nearly a week ago, more than 2,000 personnel battling the blaze that's destroyed at least 95 structures and scorched more than 20 square miles. Crews now reinforcing control lines and mopping up remaining hotspots.
The National Weather Service says they'll be surveying that storm damage in central Massachusetts tomorrow to determine whether a tornado touched down there. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
Now let's go to Jacob Lozano with the first look at our forecast. Jacob, tell us how this week is going to be looking like. Earlier it was raining hard, yes, and then on the underpass it was flooded. Can you give us any details if there's going to be any more rain coming past?
Thanks, Amaya. Well, that frontal system that was going on up north in the northeastern part where they had that debris area right there, that's that same frontal system that pushed down towards us here in the Crossroads region. But for us, we had a lot of rainfall with it because we had remnants of Lorena. All that moisture that was built up there honestly just got dumped out over San Antonio, as well as parts of, or actually the most of the Crossroads here, especially along the 59 corridor. We see just a dumping of just red, which indicates very heavy rain here. I mean, we saw close to 2 inches of rain. As of right now, the radar, though, is relatively quiet with a couple of showers out into the Gulf, but look at those rainfall totals. 6 inches close there, just south of Edna, 4.15 around Inez. Victoria close to 4 inches as well, 3.65 around Goliad, 1.25 in Refugio, 2.45 right around Beeville. And if we zoom in more in depth here in Victoria, look at that, 4.25 around downtown, 3.45 just east of 87, 3.75. It's just 3 to 4 inches of rain, as well as 6 inches of rain just north of Lolita. So lots of rainfall, but we're going to be talking about possibly maybe seeing a little bit more rain here for tomorrow coming up in the full weather report. Trenton?
All right, well, back to continued coverage for the pyrite fire in California. Evacuation orders have been issued there. Firefighters have been battling the flames of the fire, but Riverside County still needed to be evacuated. The fire started burning in Jurupa Valley, but quickly burned 140 acres. The fire is hardly contained, and the cause isn't yet known.
A chilling discovery in Pierce County. Deputies say a SWAT raid uncovered guns, battle gear, and even a possible hit list tied to a teenager. Here are the details.
To authorities, a SWAT raid of that boy's house revealed several unsecured guns, as well as battle-style clothing and even a possible manifesto.
It was very obvious. It was a matter of time before people were going to be hurt.
Deputies say that boy is not currently enrolled in any Pierce County school districts. Yet they tell Como they got a tip that suggested he had a hit list of possible people he wanted to kill and that he was going to carry out that plot at schools here in the South Sound.
We've drilled and drilled and drilled safety procedures. You see something, you say something.
Deputy Carly Capetto was a school resource officer before becoming a spokesperson for the Pierce County Sheriff's Office.
I will say from the 4 years of my experience, this was something major that was going to happen.
At the boy's home, deputies say they also found school shooter writings on loaded magazines. All as deputies say this case proves they are always working to keep our schools safe, one tip at a time.
We shouldn't allow fear to dictate how we move forward with our life.
An investigation is underway to determine why a helicopter crashed Saturday in Minnesota. This happened near Air Lake Airport in Lakeville, in the south central part of the state. Authorities say no one survived the crash, and they are trying to determine how many people were on board. It is unclear where the helicopter took off from or where it was headed. The National Transportation Safety Board will try to figure out what happened. A new state law requiring schools to obtain parental consent before administering health care services to students has triggered confusion among campus nurses who worry they could face punishment. To read this full Texas Tribune article, visit our website at crossroadstoday.com. And that'll lead us to our viewer poll for this evening, which is very connected. We ask you, should Texas schools need parental consent to give students routine health care? Couple options here for you. Yes, parents should decide. No, schools should handle it, or only for major medical care. About 71% of our voters saying yes, parents should decide. No matter what the medical routine is required, they should be contacted, which does make sense to me. If my kid was getting hurt, you know, you'd kind of want to know about that.
Yeah.
So, but we thank you for voting in this viewer poll. Obviously, up next is 16% only for major medical care. It's not too late for you to participate, so come to crossroadstoday.com/vote.
Yes. The Victoria County Commissioner Court will meet Monday, September 8th at 10 a.m. in room 241 at 115 North Bridge Street. On the agenda, commissioners will review the terminal replacement project at the Victoria Regional Airport and discuss a ramp grant agreement connected to the airport. They'll also consider proposed changes to traffic regulation in Precinct 3, along with several other items.
For more on today's news stories, come to crossroadstoday.com. Don't forget to submit your birthday wishes. Carolina Estrain and Parker Cox will read them live on 25 News Now Sunrise. You can also submit a local military hero so we can recognize them.
Now coming up, President Trump says a peace in Gaza may be closer than we think. Hear what he told reporters after the break.
Temperatures today were below average. We got to 91 degrees there right around noon. But look at that, 3.22 inches at the airport. That's 2 inches above for the month and 5 inches above for the year. But we do have a very slight little rain chance for tomorrow. We're going to be talking about that coming up in the full weather report.
President Donald Trump remains optimistic on a deal to end the war in Gaza. The president spoke at Joint Base Andrews in Maryland after returning from his trip to New York to watch the men's final at the U.S. Open.
I think we're going to have a deal on Gaza very soon. It's a hell of a problem.
What gives you
Again,
that
it's a
optimism?
problem we want to solve for the Middle East, for Israel, for everybody. But it's a problem we're going to get done.
On Sunday, Hamas released a statement that said, in part, mediators presented some ideas from the Trump administration that could lead to a ceasefire and the return of Israel's hostages. Hamas says it welcomes any move that helps efforts to stop aggression against its people.
An immigration crackdown is now underway in Boston. The so-called Patriot 2.0 is targeting the, quote, worst of the worst in the state and across the region.
Here's ABC's senior White House correspondent, Selena Wang.
Tonight, President Trump escalating his threats to surge federal law enforcement in American cities. Immigration raids now underway in Boston. The Department of Homeland Security telling ABC News that ICE launched Patriot 2.0 to target the worst of the worst criminal illegal aliens living in the state of Massachusetts. The president drawing outrage from leaders in Chicago after threatening the city with the prospect of war, a reference to his executive order rebranding the Department of Defense the Department of War.
Hey, hey, ho, ho, Donald Trump has got to go.
Chicago now bracing for the arrival of federal troops any day now.
Absolutely. You can expect action in most sanctuary cities across the country.
And today, Trump defending his message.
We're not going to war. We're going to clean up our cities.
As scores of Americans marched through D.C. streets over the weekend, protesting the deployment of 2,000 National Guard troops at the nation's capital. I pressed the president on why he's targeting Democratic strongholds like Boston and Chicago.
Mr. President, why target Chicago and Boston when there are cities and red states with higher crime rates?
Yeah. Really higher than Chicago?
There are, like Memphis and St. Louis.
Excuse me. You know how many people were killed in Chicago last weekend? 8. You think there's worse than that? I don't think so.
But FBI statistics show otherwise. The red state cities of Memphis and St. Louis have significantly higher murder rates than both Boston and Chicago. This comes as South Korea has reached a deal with the U.S. to release more than 300 South Korean nationals who were detained during an immigration raid at a Hyundai plant in Georgia last week. That operation rattled a close U.S. ally, but plans are now underway to fly them home on a chartered flight. Selena Wang, ABC News, the White House.
President Trump says his team is ready to add more sanctions on Russia. On Sunday, a reporter asked if he was ready, and he said yes. Last week, Ukraine's President Zelensky asked for more pressure on Russia and countries that trade with them. Trump is frustrated that peace talks are moving slowly and is thinking about how much he should help with meetings between Russia and Ukraine.
Now Russia launched its largest air attack so far in the war with Ukraine, continuing increased targets of the capital city, Kyiv.
Ukrainian officials calling on the international community to put more pressure on Vladimir Putin to stop this war. Here's ABC's Alex Perche with the latest.
Smoke rising from the skyline in Kyiv after the largest Russian air attack since the war began. Sirens sounded across the country and residents fleeing for bomb shelters. Flames coming out of the cabinet building in Kyiv, marking what authorities said was the first strike on the main government office since the war began. Ukraine's Air Force claims that Russia launched 810 drones and 13 missiles into the country in the latest barrage, of which 747 drones and 4 missiles were shot down. Authorities adding at least 8 people are dead, 60 are wounded. Less than a month ago, President Trump hosted Russian President Vladimir Putin in Alaska for talks aimed at ending the war. But since then, Putin has escalated his attacks on Ukraine. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky spoke with ABC News Chief Global Affairs correspondent Martha Raddatz before this morning's strike about not being asked to attend that meeting.
It's a pity that Ukraine was not there because I think that President Trump gave Putin what he wanted.
And he called Putin's invitation for him to come to Moscow a delay tactic.
I can't go to Moscow when my country is under missiles, under attacks each day. I can't go to this capital of these terrorists. It's understandable, and he understands it.
Zelensky writing on social media that strikes like today's are a deliberate attempt by Russia to prolong the war. Alex Perche, ABC News, Washington.
Many people will get to see a special sky show this weekend, but it depends on where you live. Today there will be a total lunar eclipse, also called a blood moon. This happens when the Earth comes between the moon and the sun. The full eclipse will last about 1 hour and 22 minutes, but it will only be visible in Europe, Africa, Asia, and Australia. People in North America will have to wait until March of next year to see a total lunar eclipse.
Experience our digital streaming service, Crossroads Today Plus. Stream our daily newscasts and much more using your connected TV. Just download Crossroads Today Plus on your Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Apple TV, or Android TV. Search Crossroads Today Plus.
Well, when we come back, we're going to be talking about the setup for the week. We do have a slight little rain chance, but temperatures will be increasing. We'll be talking about that coming up after this. Well, Crossroads, lots of rain for today. The rain chances are going to be diminishing, however, as we are going to be seeing some ridging here within the jet stream. So here's a jet stream tracker. We got a big area of high pressure here indicated in that red. Orange, still going to be showing some more higher pressure within that. So we're going to be watching as this area in orange will start to move up more northward, indicating some ridging. So we have low pressure, some cooler air up here. This will kind of bring in some more warmer air and kind of cut off our rain chances here just a little bit, but we do have a little saving grace. We have that frontal boundary here for Thursday. That's going to be moving out towards the Gulf, and it'll help pick up a couple little showers here for the Thursday, Friday time frame. So here's what I'm looking at for a future tracker here. This is the European model. And, well, by Thursday around 2 p.m., we'll start to see some more active shower activity here picking up for us. But honestly, without this, we're going to have relatively sunny skies for tomorrow as well as Tuesday, give or take a couple of other showers. But by 4 p.m. here on Thursday, that'll be moving on out of here for us. But the temperatures are going to be increasing here. But let's take a look at for tomorrow. So 2 a.m. we're going to have more shower activity being picked up here along the Texas coastline. A little bit of cloud cover remaining here as well as in the morning time. But we're going to keep it right around 20% here for just maybe an afternoon shower because we have a lot of activity still going on in the Gulf. I wouldn't be surprised if we get like these little pocket showers here for us here. So very slight little chance. Just going to keep it in the forecast. So don't be alarmed if you see a little shower that pops up. But relatively, it's going to be mostly sunny skies throughout the day for us. And temperatures will actually be a little bit cooler as well. 72 degrees we'll be waking up to tomorrow. Getting up to 86 here by noon. Right around 91. So about what it was today, right around 12 o'clock is what it's going to possibly feel like for the temperatures there. As by the time you get towards 7 p.m., it'll be back down into the 80s for us. But temperatures are going to be increasing, like I did mention here. So we'll be right around 94, 95 degrees, which is a little bit above average for this time of the year. But with those east-northeasterly winds shifting more out of the east, temperatures will also increase, as well as a lack of cloud cover. That'll also kind of help warm up our ground here for us. But for your daily planner tomorrow, like I mentioned, relatively sunny skies. Can't rule out a little 20% chance for some shower activity, but northeasterly winds here at about 10 miles per hour, as well as Port Lavaca. Going to be seeing more of the shower activity, though, because they're along the coastline. That's more likely where we would see some more shower activity. So going to keep that for relatively scattered to isolated throughout the day. Cuero, you're more than likely just going to be more sunnier just because of how far you are from the coastline. So we're keeping it at that. But I did mention sunny skies here Tuesday, Wednesday, 20% here Thursday, Friday, and then it kind of drops down here as that frontal system kind of finally moves on out of here. So going to be pretty much of an average week for us here as temperatures will be right around the mid 90s for us. And look at that, Tuesday morning, 68 degrees. That's going to be our first possible 60-degree morning for us here for the month of September. So we're going to be looking forward to more of that. Now don't forget to scan the QR code for more news, weather, and sports. And speaking of sports, is that the Battle of the Boot?
Yes, it is. We're still talking about it, Jacob, and we're hearing from Victoria West QB Nolan Boyce. See what's next for the Warriors and see what he has to say coming up in sports. Preparing for week 3 in Crossroads, we still have a handful of teams that are undefeated, including the Victoria West Warriors. After their impressive Friday night victory, I also had the opportunity to catch up with quarterback Nolan Boyce to discuss the game and what lies ahead for the team.
Everybody worked through all the hard moments in the game and all the good moments in the game. We took in everything and we came out and won. Definitely looking forward to Jarrett coming back soon. We had to move our receiver room around a little bit and kind of mess with some things, but we made it work. With Jarrett coming back, I think he's going to be the missing piece in the puzzle that's just going to keep, not missing, we did great today, but he's going to be a better piece in the puzzle that elevates our offense even better.
Great words from Nolan. Let's see how much more the Warriors can get better in week 3. The Warriors will have 2 more non-district games in their week 3 matchup. We'll see them back at Memorial Stadium battling Sam Houston. And your Sunday Sports Viewer poll is after an impressive week 2 of plays, with the top 2 plays being hurdles from both Dedrick Callis and Brody Met in Crossroads. Which play impressed you the most? Could it also have been Walker Dietz' catch? Here's some of the votes that we got, and I think it's unanimous, close to unanimous, with Dedrick Callis' hurdle voting 42%, and I think it's pretty unanimous. I think the people agree, and of course I agreed with my, selection of top 3 plays. But as always, make sure you are on our Crossroads Today website putting in some votes because more highlights are coming you guys' way. And let's shine a spotlight on some of the future stars you could see competing for the boot in years ahead. Yesterday, the Victoria Titans Little League football team faced off against Carnegie City Little League squad. And on your screen are the junior divisions of both teams, and the Titans dominated from start to finish, securing a commanding 39-6 victory. Here's a word from head coach Avery and quarterback Austin Avery.
I'm very, very proud of the kids. A lot of them I've been coaching since they were 6 years old, and a lot of them they're 10 now, and some are 9. And we set the expectations in June when we started practicing and doing strength and conditioning, just getting it ready, and we just want to come out and dominate every day.
My love for the game of football, I love it a lot because I've been playing since I was 6 years old, and I played really good today. I had a passing touchdown, rushing touchdown, and a fumble recovery touchdown. Oh yeah, we lost to them last year in double overtime by 1 point, and this year we beat them 39-7 or to 6.
You know, I need to learn that little dance that he's doing right there. But congratulations to the Victoria Titans and best of luck to them on the seasons to come. And the newly named A&M Victoria men's soccer team had secured their first win of the season. They faced off against McMurray University in a tough, hard-fought matchup, ultimately prevailing final score 1-0. The Jags will return to the cage this Thursday to take on Texas Wesleyan, followed by a matchup against Dallas Christian on Saturday. And the Houston Texans battled fiercely against Cuervo's own Jordan Whittington and the Los Angeles Rams. And unfortunately, last time we spoke, the Texans were unable to mount a comeback. After a first down play in LA, an injury occurred. The Texans were penalized with a 15-yard setback due to unnecessary roughness foul on Rams player Nakua, who was seen bleeding from the eye following that play, and the Texans struggled to regain their footing in the game. Stroud did finish with 137 yards and a touchdown, but the Texans ultimately lost the game. Final score 14-9. The Texans will play the Buccaneers next Monday at 6 p.m. But that does it for your sports. Amaya and Trenton.
Thank you, Ray. Too much fruit left one big bear in Turkey with a stomach ache and a trip to the hospital. We'll show you his MRI results coming up. In Istanbul, Turkey, a 200-pound bear named Okin had to get an MRI after eating too much fruit. Caretakers say he was in great discomfort, so they brought him to a veterinarian hospital. The scan came back clean, and Okin was released back to his wildlife center. It's not the first time that this has happened. A few years ago, workers are now adjusting his diet to help prevent future stomach aches.
All right, greedy bear, stop eating so much.
What? Well, I never known bears bears do love fruit, right?
Fruit, honey.
Honey, that's what I thought.
I didn't want to say it. I don't know if that's true or not.
I mean, probably.
Yeah.
Too much fruit, too many sweets. I mean, y'all should eat fruits, but not as many as that bear.
Not that.
Oh my God. But okay, hey, look, that bear loves fruits. I love fruits. But you know what? Let's go check up with weather. I don't know how to bring that with fruit, but let's go check up with weather.
No, rain helps the fruit grow.
Yeah. It does.
We did get a lot of rain today.
That looks like an orange there on the graphic.
It does. The sun. We got sunshine in our forecast here, but 20% for tomorrow. We could see a little isolated shower. Very small chance that we just see some remaining shower activity as that frontal boundary continues to move down south. Sunny skies here Tuesday, Wednesday, and then as that frontal boundary moves out towards the Gulf, we see a little bit more moisture get to pick up here for Thursday and Friday. So that's where we got 20%, but temperatures mid-90s.
Yes, great. Finally, we get sun because today was really, really rough today. But thank you for joining us. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Enjoyed Carolina Estrain and Parker Cox for 25 News Now Sunrise at 5 a.m.
Have a great night and a good weekend.